Well, hello friends. This is Callie Carroll, aka Postpartum with FittCoach is what we're doing today. And we're talking about your boobs again, guys, because I think I already did one video where I thought I had something going on and I just had a little bit of a milk, I actually went to the doctor's, it's a milk blister, and got some different ideas about how to clear that up, but it's been there for a while. Anywho, let's move on to something that's worse than that. And I'm not sure how many of you guys have gotten this gem before, but I was the lucky winner of getting mastitis. That's super, super exciting, right? And it's funny, when I was looking this up at first, trying to discover what I had, all of the articles I was pulling up were like, oh, 1 to 3% of women or people are affected by mastitis. I think that it's like 1 to 3% of all humans, including men and non-breastfeeding people. That's probably why it seemed so low. Because when you plug in, and I was like, I did something on my Facebook, I'm like, oh yay, look at this. It was like 1 million people that have had it. So if you're wondering if this could be you, it could be you. And it's kind of normal-ish. I guess it's like 20% of breastfeeding women is more what my doctor said. So 1 in 5, that's not bad, right? Like you have a pretty good chance of getting this gem. So here's how I knew that I had it, you guys. I know at first when I was just having some different pains, I was kind of just wondering what was going on, and that was just the milk blister, right? When you actually get mastitis, I feel like you're going to know because you kind of feel like you just got ran over by a truck, if you're wondering. The biggest telltale sign is that you have, and by the way, remember this, I am not a doctor by any means. This is going off the research that I did in my own experience, PS, right? But I was actually at my daughter's gymnastics meet, or we were taking her to her meet, and I've been having headaches for a good bit of time, like on and off. I'm not really sure if that was like a direct link, but I just was feeling really run down and having headaches. And all of us are like, well, yeah, of course, we're not sleeping at night, right? I haven't slept for 6 weeks. Why would I not have headaches and feel run down? But I guess when it got worse was a stage where then it was my right breast, it really started to hurt. And it feels like just a full duct, like a full milk duct, right? And you could have a blocked milk duct. It could be from a bacterial, entering in, if you have scabbing or scraping or anything on your nipple. But for me, it was this duct, and it wasn't this is a weird thing. I was like, I can't have mastitis because I don't have a blocked duct. I know I've had that before, and there's one striation of a duct that you can completely see. It's enlarged, that part's painful, and then there's a place where it's not coming out. That wasn't the case for me. The case for me is that I produce a lot of milk. I'm kind of a cow, and I feed my little man, and when I feed him, he's not able to eat everything that I have in there sometimes, which leaves me still having milk in my ducts, right? And when he eats on one side, a lot of times he doesn't get to eat on the other side because his little tummy's too full. So my issue is that I actually have and I'm not emptying the full, a full amount each time. So here we are, we're going to my daughter's gymnastics meet, and we're going out to, it was 2 in the afternoon. I'm like, God, this is really hurting. Breastfeeding was getting uncomfortable. Hugging people, I couldn't hug people. That was the worst. And we went out to dinner. I was like, I do not feel right. And I still didn't know what was going on, PS. But I had, I just felt off, is as much as I could explain it. I didn't feel nauseous. I didn't feel like I was gonna barf. I felt not good. And then throughout dinner, I kind of started to feel clammy a little bit cold, and I was getting a fever. It's not like you carry a thermometer in your pocket. I didn't know I was getting a fever, right? I couldn't really eat. We got back to the hotel, and because it was down in another city, I had full body aches, full chills. It felt like the full-on flu, you guys. And then I heard somebody call it the breast flu or booby flu, and I thought that was super funny because that's what it feels like. So this might be helping you decide, do I have mastitis or not, and what do you do when you do? So I still didn't know that though. I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. I took some ibuprofen and it's gonna go away. I'm just gonna will it away because I need to, because I'm a mom and I've got a powerhouse and feed my kid. And when he latches, it sucks and it hurts, but I gotta feed him, right? And then I'm gonna go to my daughter's gymnastics meet. And I did end up breaking my fever in the middle of the night at some time. I just could notice when I was stopping sweating profusely, and went to her meet the next day. And then it started getting even worse the next day. I was like, oh my God, what is this? So I started looking things up, and I wish I would have looked up a little bit sooner because I could have contacted my doctor sooner if I would have realized the symptoms, right? So when I looked it up, and I put this out here, you guys can do your own research, But the different things that can happen, of course, is like the tenderness, your warmness, your breast swelling, thickening of the tissues, a burning sensation when you're feeding them, the skin turning red. That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to look like a spider web coming out of my boob. And if I didn't have that, I didn't have mastitis. So I was like, no, I don't have that because it doesn't look like that. Not the case, guys. You can have the other signs, right? Generally feeling ill. That's what I felt like. And then the main thing is a fever. So when I finally got home and could check my temperature, I had been on ibuprofen. I still had a fever of 101, which means I don't know what it would have been if I hadn't been on the ibuprofen. So my body was reacting in such a way. So guys, super easy. Called my doctor. We got myself on Augmentin, it's a form of penicillin. And it was like literally, I got that night, Saturday night. And by Sunday evening, my fever had broke. I still pretty much had it for 24 hours, a little bit longer. I was taking ibuprofen and everything to manage that. But after 24 hours, 36 hours on the medication, I was freaking, like I felt like I was a brand new woman again, right? And it's still like, you have to work through the tenderness of it hurting to feed. But here's the things that I would tell you guys, if you've like wondered, or if you've had mastitis, or you're like, maybe this might be something, number one, just be aware of it. And it doesn't have to look like a spider web boob in order to have it. Like you might be, if you have other things going on, if you're having, of course, if we have a fever, we're supposed to call in, right? I didn't know that I had a fever. I'm just not that in tune with my body until I really got the chills and the aches and everything. So if you feel like you're out of sorts, if you're out of whack, if you're more tired than you think that you should be, and you're having any sort of breast pain, I would be aware of what your temperature is to see if that could be something. The second thing, because it's what, 20% of us, right? So 1 in 5, if my doctor's stat was exactly correct, whatever, right? The second thing is you want to feed your little one through it. It's going to actually help clear the duct out. So feeding and pumping as much as possible. I know that it's painful, but for me, like it's deterred a lot of women from actually breastfeeding. It's actually stopped their journey, which would suck. You know, if you were on this journey and all of a sudden it's this one infection and now you don't get to do it for the next year or whatever that was going to be for you, make sure that you, like, for me, it was grin and bear it. And every time he would latch on, I would be thinking he's healing me, even though it was hurting. This is my healing process, right? Sometimes for our body to heal in different ways, we do go through a little bit of pain. So just being with that sensation, and that's okay. And the feeling of that is actually clearing, right? It's clearing the ducts. So know that you might get it. It doesn't have to look like spider web boobs or whatever that would be. And like spider veins is what I see. And make sure that you're feeding your little one and be patient with the process. Get with your doctor, see if you can get some medication as soon as possible so you can clear the infection out. And then congratulations, if you're watching this because you have had it, guess what? We get it more often now. So I was talking to my doctor and she said that I just need to make sure I'm clearing every single time that I'm feeding him. So I have to pump a little bit after I feed him now. I got one of those like latches for the other one if he feeds on one side, a milk catcher for the other side. I hadn't heard of these before. There's one called like a Haka or a Haka or something. I got one from Milky Moms, MILKYMOMS, right? It's just like this little catcher that catches your milk on one side when you're feeding him on the other side. So hopefully that's gonna help me not experience this again. But I know the next time I'll just be more in tune with my body and realize that if things don't feel right, they're probably not right. So hopefully that helps your education for mastitis. And I hope you guys are having a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day. And I hope you're not one of the 1 in 5. And if you are, welcome to the club. Bye, guys.